Hello friends, welcome back, and if you are here for the first time, my name is Kayleen and I'm in the garden today bringing you a little bit of an updated tour. Our summer has gone on and on, and so the warm weather being persistent has delayed taking down a lot of plants. But I finally got to the pumpkins, or the rest of the pumpkins, but as you can see they're still trying to throw out little babies. I did get some brown etch on some of them, and which looks a bit funky, but it's only superficial. They're still quite edible, as are green pumpkins. These ones are pretty ripe, are ready, mature, but there's a couple of ones with a little bit of spots on them. So it was a beautiful day this day. I'm doing a voiceover because we have a lot going on. My neighbour is hammering the whole time, so I'm trying to show you with a bit of natural sound, but there might be a little bit of tapping that you can hear also. I've planted broad beans already in this bed to fill up the middle area, and I try and pre-sprout my peas and beans before I put them in. I find that works particularly well to stop rodents and that digging them up and eating them. It gives them a head start. Now this pumpkin, I had to show you this pumpkin. I'm not sure what variety it is, but this pumpkin has actually been in the ground for about 18 months. It's actually from last season, and it didn't grow. The chickens get out and get to it and eat it, but it's actually taken off at the end of the season and trying to produce pumpkins. It's very confused, but I'll just let it go. So this is the Trumpetinos, my friends. This is where we're at. The vine has died off a lot. It's not actually finished, but I really do need to get some of them in. So I decided to pick some of them. This one plant grew 30 fruit. I cannot believe how much came out of this one little seed that I planted. So we've got some picking to do. Now they're quite heavy to pick, and so it was a little bit of a juggle, but the biggest juggle was that some of them had grown through the trellis in a way that kind of curled around, snaked around the wire, and I had to kind of unthread them or just roll them in a way that they could come through. So the straight ones were easy, but not the curly ones. So I would have to say, if I was to choose between growing pumpkins and the Trumpetinos, I would definitely go with these. They are just so prolific if allowed to grow in the ground, which this plant was. So 30 fruit from this, and I did weigh one a little while ago, and I estimate that I could have over 100 kilos of food from this one plant, which is quite phenomenal. And the good thing about these is that apparently, I haven't done it before, so it will be a wait and see, a bit unnerving to do this for the first time, but I am told that picked mature enough, they will last for 12 months. So you can store them and just use them one at a time over a longer period of time instead of having to deal with all that produce. So it would be a lot of preserving if I was to deal with that. Obviously you can share your produce, but I'm going to pick today 10, and that leaves quite a few on the vines as well. I went round and tested a few with my nails, and some of them are quite soft compared to a pumpkin skin, I think. So that made me a little bit nervous picking them, but the stems had started to dry off. I did try and take a fair bit of the stem with it and leave it attached where possible. The ones that I couldn't do that with were the ones that were stuck in the wire, and I had to kind of cut as much off the top as I could to fit it through. So I did leave pieces on it to try and preserve it longer. and better. And then I'll be very conscious of where I store them. So I am looking forward to trying them. They're apparently nuttier flavour than the butternut pumpkins. Supposed to be delicious as a pumpkin. We have eaten them green, like the one you see right in the foreground, and they are very similar to zucchini, but a lot firmer. They were taking up a bit of room inside the beds, just resting on the beds, and I have since put down some manure and some rotted or half rotted pea straw, and a little bit of soil in there from pots, from some of my grow bags. I dumped in there just to raise up that bed just a little bit, and have it ready for winter planting. And so I have put some little broad beans in here, but it was time to take a few of these out. And where I've taken this particular fruit, right next to it is the original plant. So the stem of it is right there. I poked it through the wire to try and encourage it to grow on the other side of this wired cage and garden, and have them growing on an arch, and it ended up taking up 3 large arches, expanding the whole width of this cage, and it took up the wall of that and was growing even on the roof. You'll see in some of the footage it's like massive weight on my roof, and there's some sitting up there. So most things are finished. That was a little watermelon trying to grow again. So I actually thought I'd taken the plants out, but there was a little watermelon trying to grow. It won't grow. There'll be no watermelon from that. But this was a surprise. This was the African horn cucumber that popped up by itself. It had 1 fruit on the plant, and I thought that's all it was going to do. But because I took it off, it's thrown out a heap more fruit. Now, I don't know if there's time for it to grow. I was about to take the plant out actually when I discovered this. I was about to get the secateurs and cut it off at ground level. But even though the leaves are looking a bit sad, it is producing quite a few fruit. So you never know. We might get a little bit more to eat out of it before that is done. But pretty much it's time up for the cucumbers, and probably, thankfully, because I'm a little bit over pickling. I am grateful when we have a glut, if you can call it that. Just having enough food to preserve is fantastic. But sometimes it's not convenient. You've got to do it while it's fresh. You've got to do it when it's ready, and it's not necessarily convenient when you're doing other things. So It has been fun, but I am doing the last lot of pickling. So we got 14 jars out of what we picked here. My capsicums, sorry, are just forever delaying. I'm hoping I get a better year out of it next year. I really haven't picked much at all. I'm picking a bit of basil here. The tomatoes are still going a little. I have found that my tomatoes go into June if I leave them on. You think they're finished, but then they bounce back and throw out more tomatoes when you think it's time to pull them up. So I keep saying pull them up. I never pull them up. I cut everything at ground level and let the roots die back. This is something I do too. This is the vinegar. There's always seems to be leftover vinegar. This recipe, I love this recipe. I'll show you the book that I've got it out of so that you can look it up. It's a lovely book from a cafe that's got all these great recipes. So this is the book. Now I make this all the time, this pickle, the cucumbers, but I don't put onion in it because my husband's allergic to it. But I always find there's more brine than needed, so I bottle that up too. Well, thank you for joining me today. Check out the other videos on my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye for now.